Warning, the following game contains graphic content and mature themed nudity. Oh, okay. This isn't a conventional story and is intended to be played multiple times for the best experience. Characters can and will die as part of the narrative. Who and how and why are all dependent on how you play. That's the best part about why I like this story. So I'm going to be straight up upfront and honest with you guys. I have read Password before. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't know what happens in this story because I do know roughly most of what happens in this story. So I think it was on the tier list that I posted, which was like the second or third video on my channel. I did a visual novel tier list, and Password was in there because I have read Password before. And I think I put it in the S tier because it is an S tier story. Granted, I have not read Password in many, many years. I remember when I was reading Password, it was the update just before the ending came out. So the ending is the only thing about this story that I have not seen. Mostly everything else I have seen. I do know most of the characters. I don't remember all of them, but obviously I'm not going to remember everything. But like I said, I haven't read this in years, and I thought it would be nice to revisit it. And also just because the visual novels that I am busy making for the channel, well, reading for the channel, are the updates aren't coming out that I need, or they just don't perform well. But either way, I thought it would be nice to revisit Password. If I'm pretty sure most people have read it already, but enough yapping about X, Y, and Z. Let's actually read this thing. The streets around my house were empty, likely a case of because of how early it was. Normally I'd still be in bed for the next few hours, get up, get myself some coffee, and move on to doing whatever it is that needed to be done that day. School ended yesterday, and rather than enjoy the fact that I didn't need to get up for classes, I was making my way towards the bus stop where I was to meet my friends. And why were they up early as well? One of us, by some miracle or perhaps a stroke of good luck, managed to get an all expenses paid vacation to a mansion up in the mountains for a month. What better way to celebrate than to have a taste of the high life before moving on to college? Oh wait. I remember Password's tunes. Oh, they were so good to listen to. I'm getting a bit nostalgic because this came. Like I said, I've read this years ago. I sat my bag down at the bus stop, checking the road. It was as dead as it was when I left the house, with no signs of the private bus that was meant to pick us up. Groaning, I rubbed my eyes. Tiredness wouldn't have been an issue if I had had some time to have some coffee, but excitement kept me from thinking rationally. I wondered how long it would take for the others to arrive, if only because once someone was here I could afford to zone out. Oh dear, you look conscious. Oh, Roswell, I remember you. God. I don't know. Roswell's like shirt reminds me of like Blossom from the Powerpuff Girls. I don't know why. When I turned to face the voice, I was greeted by Roswell's smile, along with a familiar sense of freshly brewed coffee coming from the 2 cups on the tray he held up. I assumed you need a kickstart this morning. Here, you know which one is yours. Do I? Rubbing my eyes again, I nodded. I reached out for the coffee on the left. Not that I really knew which one was mine, but I had a 50-50 shot of getting it right. Failing that, I could always look at the name written on the cup. Turning it over in my hand, I looked at what it said on the cup. Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember you could type out like every fucking character's name in this game, and then you could have a different reaction to each time. Oh, that's awesome. I remember that. But I'm gonna go with this character's name. I don't actually remember what this character's name is, so I'm gonna look it up. Dave was his name. Yeah, he was like a hyena dude. Dave. As I looked down at the name, I smiled. It was my name, a name I inherited from my dad. What's the matter, Dave? Nothing at all. I rubbed my thumb over the name written in marker. If this had my name on it, then there's every chance that Roswell got my order right too. As I took the first sip, I knew immediately that my order was correct. Just the right amount of milk, just the right amount of sugar, brewed to perfection. I didn't realize you needed it that badly, Dave. Hey, you should know by now that I need my coffee in the morning, real. Oh, I know. That's why I stopped off especially. I didn't think anywhere would be open this early. I know some places, don't worry about it. All that matters is that you have your awake juice. We drank our coffee. Awake juice is funny. We drank our coffee. The street is just as quiet as it was when we arrived, even with the added company. Before long, I noticed Roswell watching me curiously, much in the same way he'd watch for something to happen. Roswell, why are you staring? Aren't you excited? What, for the vacation? Of course, the vacation. I thought you'd be, I don't know, more energetic. Well, I guess, maybe a little. I laughed at the classic hyena trait that shone through when I'd been caught off guard. But maybe wait until the coffee has had its chance to wake me up. Yeah, let the wake juice do its magic, Roswell. He rolled his eyes, rummaging around his pockets for something, before quickly shoving whatever it is down his mouth. Roswell's want to double check things like this went back to when we were kids. Whether it was a habit or not, I don't know. There was a time where I'd do the same. It was mostly for homework and such, even if it was only a couple of years ago. Before that, he'd been away, having moved far enough that we couldn't hang out like we used to. But hanging out as kids was easy when you were literal neighbors. You know, this will be a good sort of send-off, I suppose. That's what I thought. As I was replying, I watched Roswell shovel more of whatever it was into his pocket into his mouth, losing where I was taking my thoughts. What are you eating? Breakfast? Breakfast. Show me. You're not eating candy for breakfast, are you? Hey, they're fruit gummies. Fruit is for breakfast, ergo, this is fine. But the sugar. Whatever point he was making was punctuated by him shaking his coffee cup. I knew he had a sweet tooth, but I wondered what his dentist would think. Hoi! Hoi, partner! Roswell and I looked over to where the voice had come from, watching as an energetic dragon bounded towards us. Fuck, he looks a little bit different than what I remember, but I do remember him. I don't know, he looks like someone who would have a southern accent. But I'm not gonna do that because, man, my throat couldn't handle that. Orlando bounced on the spot, dropping his backpack next to mine and throwing an arm over our shoulders. Morning, Orlando. I shot the dragon a look, bulk having nearly made me spill my coffee. Getting the hint, he backed down, stretching out his arms. Early mornings like this are a great start for adventures, don't you think? Only if there's coffee involved. Some of us can be just as functional in the morning without it, you know, Dave. Turning away before I could get a reply, and Orlando called down the street toward the crocodile slowly lumbering over his way towards us. Oh, it's Sal! I remember Sal! Oh god, he looks like Killer Croc. Setting his bag down too, Sal gave each of us a small wave. Good morning. Roswell gestured at me with a piece of red licorice, a smug grin on his face. He knew how to push buttons, especially Orlando's. Well, our souls aren't worth that much, are they? Hey now, you can't go saying that. You're worth plenty. Yeah, your soul alone could pay for this whole trip. Somehow being told I was enough to cover this whole trip wasn't exactly reassuring. There you go. Now you can have your soul back, Orlando. Oh, doesn't seem like that's the answer Roswell wanted. Orlando and Roswell looked towards one another before looking back at me. So, you do know the other reason I put this together, right? Huh? What reason? Ever since the incident, you've been sort of distant? Muted, maybe. Like, I don't know. You don't seem to be like that cheerful hyena you were before it happened. Oh, I guess I haven't, huh? Once again, they looked at one another, almost as if wanting the other to say something first. We miss the old you, is old. I'm fine, really, well, you know how it is. Are you sure? Positive. Then I guess that's all there is to it. This'll be the best vacation ever, promise. I don't know, Orlando was very quick to just, brush that aside, but whatever. The best vacation ever? I sure hoped. With high school over for Haas, Roswell, and Orlando and I, this was going to be the last time we could freely hang out together as a group. Sure, there was every chance we'd be able to see each other every now and then, but nothing like this. I looked at the others on the bus, a slight smile forming. These were my friends, and I were happy they were here. Stifling a yawn, I wonder if I should get a nap in now or hold off. What should I do? Oh, choices, lovely. Well, I could just ignore all of them and just sleep. You guys got this, alright? You can sort out yourselves. Alright, okay. I don't actually know. I'm fine with all these characters. Haas I barely remember, but I do like Sal. I do like Dean. Tyson I'm fine with. I wandered towards the front of the bus to where Sal seemed to be staring out of the window. Hey Sal. He didn't answer at first. His eyes glazed over as the world went by on the other side of the window. What? Oh, excuse me. He sounded tired, and when he turned to me just enough that we could look at me, I snuck a glance at Orlando, who was still being tormented by Roswell, before looking back to Sal, confident that I wasn't being nearly as much of a pain. Just checking in. Everything alright? Yeah, everything's fine. So you're tired too, huh? Aren't you normally up this early? I am, but Orlando's a lot to deal with when he's excited. Did you have coffee? No coffee at Orlando's place. I figured I'd be fine with tea, but... He shook his head, leaving his comment there. Sal was usually one of few words, but for the most part he was easy to talk to. Granted, he didn't always say something back, but he was a good listener. So are you excited as Orlando, or... He shrugged. Even if there's a pool and a gym there? Ugh, pool. The faintest of smiles crept on his face, and his gaze went to the window for a moment before returning his look to me. Maybe I'm a little excited. That's actually kind of cute. Sal didn't seem up for a conversation with how he yawned soon after and went back to looking out the window. So do I just get to spend time with each one individually? You know what, I'll save Dean for last. I wandered over to where Haas was sitting, leaning over the chair behind him to see what he was reading. Huh? Oh, just a magazine I picked up from the convenience store. He thumbed the pages he'd yet to get to before flashing me a quick smile. Didn't think I'd run into this issue there, but they had it, so I bought it. Don't tell me you didn't bring anything to do on the bus while we drove there. Oh no, I was just curious is all. I half expected it to be some manga or something. I am shocked and offended, Dave. Me, manga, never. We both laughed, knowing full well that the person with the most enthusiastic about the anime club was Haas, so he's a weeb. Somehow he managed to balance being a rabid anime fan and an aspiring big screen superstar just fine, though. But really, though, a magazine? Sure, why not? I gave him a look, baffled by what he would find interesting about a gossip magazine. Okay, fine, it's just useful to stay up to date on these sort of things. Trust me on this. I watched as he flicked to the back, showing me the last few pages. Puzzles, crosswords, a quiz. If you want your horoscope read, I could do that too. If you're that hard-pressed for entertainment, I could give it to you when I'm done. Maybe, I don't know, doing a crossword sounds like fun. Are you actually gonna fill out the words relating to the clues this time? Hey, you never know. He smirked before gesturing to the back of the bus behind me. Before I forget, what's the deal with him? With Ty? Yeah, Orlando and Roswell didn't seem too happy when he showed up, let alone Dean. He's a friend. A friend, huh? So as long as he doesn't go making any trouble, we should be fine. I've heard things. Oh right, you only moved here at the start of the year, huh? Moved here sooner, but started school around the start of the year, yeah. Still, the guy carries a reputation. He's fine, promise. Well, mostly anyway. Guess we'll see then. If you reckon he's alright, I'll give him a chance. But he's only getting one, alright? What the fuck? Who are you to make demands, Hoss? That's all I ask. He's really not that bad. Hoss snuck another look at Tyson before going back to his magazine. Guess we'll just have to see, Dave. I'll let you get back to your magazine. With how you're clutching your coffee, I'd say you need a catnap, huh? I gave Hoss a smile before turning away, wondering if I should take that catnap or not. No, not yet. We're gonna talk to everyone first. Speaking of Tyson, Hoss, I'm gonna go check on him real quick. I glanced back at the others as I made my way down to the back of the bus. As I drew closer, I noticed Ty watching me closely. The gentle swish of the tail was giving me a clue on his mood. Hey. Hey, Ty. I sat down next to Tyson, who was, rather than lifting up his leg to make more room, just spread himself out further once I was settled. Oh, why you gotta be such a douche? What's up? Checking in? How's the bus going? Going fine, although bullshit that you weren't checking in on me because you were worried. Maybe a little. I'll be fine, Stripes. You're not getting any ideas about doing anything back here, are you? What do you... My eyes dipped down to his lap where he was making a lewd gesture with his hands. Wow, really? Thanks, Ty. You're the best, bro. All it took was a moment for me to bring my gaze back up, and I realized I'd been busted. As I shrank into my shoulders embarrassed, Tyson roared with laughter. I'm out of your league, Stripes. Almost immediately I retorted, jaw clenched. I am not. Oh yeah? You confessing to me, Dave? No. Hell, not me. I'm not. Other people might, but not me. Despite my groan, he snickered to himself. Ty knew how to push my buttons well, and some of that was from when he was the local bully. Things were different between us now, but the others not so much. He was as much of a friend now as any of the others, and even though he was razzing me the same way I'd expect Dean to, I managed to crack a smile of my own. You wish I was confessing. Ty rolled his eyes and settled in, stretching out further and taking up more of the space as I was half pushed out of the seat. So a month, yeah? This trip? Yeah, 1 month. Huh. Ty's gaze dipped for a moment before looking back at me, his expression something I couldn't quite place. What's up? Nothing, just thinking. You? Thinking? Rather than give me any sort of proper reply, he placed a foot against my cheek and pushed me further off the seat. Okay, sorry. Just a lot going on is all. Don't worry about it. If you say so, I guess I'll let you get back to it. I'm currently doing it. You should go take a nap, those Stripes. You look wrecked. Yeah, eventually. I'll talk to you later, Ty. See ya. I slid to the rest of the way off the seat and wondered if I should take that nap now, or if there was anything else left to do before I did. I wandered over to near the front of the bus to where Dean was stretching out, still getting comfortable in his seat. Oh, Dave, what's up? Oh, nothing really, just thought I'd check in. Things are fine here. How about you? Well, I glanced back at Tyson at the back of the bus before looking back to Dean. What's wrong? No, it's nothing, don't worry about it. Don't be silly, Dave, sit down for a bit. I nodded slowly. What's bothering you? Nervous about this vacation? Think something's gonna happen? I laughed nervously, giving myself away. The idea of Dean and I at a house, basically living together for a month, gave me a whole slew of feelings I didn't know how to process. Alone for an extended period of time with this guy, I was still figuring out exactly where we stood. be it dating or otherwise, made me squirm giddy with the possibilities. I laughed again nervously, that hyena laugh coming out more as a snicker as I quickly looked around to see if the others were wondering what we were laughing at. Speaking of plans, I was just planning on getting a nap in before we arrived. You look like you could use one too, Dave. I've had coffee, I'll be fine. The smile I gave him came out crooked as I tried to stifle the yawn that came out moments later. This is fine, huh? Okay, maybe I could benefit from a nap. You're welcome to use me as a pillow if you want. I have the bulk for it and I'm told I'm pretty comfy. Again, we both laughed, though it was closer to tired chuckles as we both yawned again. Right, well, I remember. He quickly looked over his shoulder to the back of the bus where Tyson was, sprawled out and looking out the window. You sure it's alright that you invited him? Yeah, why? I watched his gaze go over from me to Roswell, then Orlando, sitting back on me. No reason, if you say it's fine. He didn't seem keen on elaborating further. He was done talking for now, apparently. What should I do? Well, there's only one thing we can do, and that's get the good old shut-eye. I returned to my seat to double-check everything that was neatly in my bag before lounging back and closing my eyes with a sigh. Dave, are you sleeping? Well, I'm trying to until I heard your voice. 'Cause if you're not, I want to ask you something. I opened my eyes, tired but giving Roswell a quick smile. He was leaning over the chair in front of me, his chin resting on his folded arms. What's up, Roswell? I just wanted to know if you were planning on documenting this vacation at all. Like, did you bring a camera or something? What, like my phone? Fishing it out of my pocket, I flashed it at Roswell. I guess that works. Oh, actually, there was something I brought along. Let me pull it out. I rummaged in my backpack and pulled out a small notebook, rubbing my fingers across the cover. I have this. I figured this is going to be the last time we get to hang out. Maybe it'd be neat to have a little journal. Maybe scrapbook parts of it too. Roswell let his arms drape over the back of the chair, eyes flicking down to the notebook in my hands. How are you going to scrapbook things without a Polaroid camera, Dave? I can draw, or print them from my phone when we get back home. Well, I think it's a good idea. I have my own notebooks, so I might make a journal of my own. Maybe then we can, I don't know, compare and make copies for everyone else? Yeah, let's do that. Alright, let's sort it out later. For now, I'm guessing you're trying to sleep again. Probably. I'm still beat. Well, alright. If you wake up at some point and want to chill, Orlando and I will be washing stuff near the front. Or maybe playing cards or something. Sleep well. Roswell plumped back down and wandered up the length of the bus back to Orlando before sitting down. As for me, I put the journal and my phone away, resting back and closing my eyes once more. The gentle rolling of the bus and the low drone of the engine was enough to lull me to sleep given how tired I was, even after 2 cups of coffee. I must have slept the whole way to the mansion. When I was coming to, I could smell the distinct scent of honey and the gentle patting of my cheek. There was also the vague sound of someone talking, but I couldn't make out what. Is it Dean? Yeah. The only person who could smell like honey is, well, the bear. Huh? Dean? I rubbed my eyes, adjusting to the sunlight coming in from the window. The bus was still in motion, so we hadn't arrived yet, but it seemed like we were getting close. You've been asleep for most of the drive, but now that you're awake and we have some time to kill... Oh, something bounced off the side of his head, stunning him briefly. Where the coin was now on the floor of the bus hit him, I looked across to see where it had come from. Sal seemed to be shooting Dean a disapproving look, catching my gaze briefly in the mix and his expression turning into an apologetic one. Though he settled right back as Dean registered, but had sat on the ground pocketing the coin happily. Probably not enough time to do anything anyway. Just making sure you have everything. Turning to head back to his seat, he stopped by Sal and the two had a brief chat as I gathered my things. Like, why the fuck did you start it there after trying to make a move? Not that there was a lot to put back away, and I spent the rest of my time watching the trees go by. Before long, the bus pulled up in front of a large house. Oh, fancy. This looks like an old-ass, 60s picture. Before us stood a mansion, some 3 stories tall. This was where we would be staying, and effectively our home for the month. A smile formed on my face as the excitement started to settle in now that I could see it, with Tysel whistling in awe next to me, echoing how I was feeling. Roswell and Orlando led the charge, excitedly heading towards the front of the door to where the mansion. This place is amazing! Look at how big it is! Right? This is gonna be great! They hurried on ahead, leaving the rest of us to come to our senses. Big house. Yeah. I was half expecting him to come up with some lewd joke with a setup Sal had given him. When it didn't come, I came to the assumption that he was just as floored as the rest of us to just how big the place was. I stepped forward, stretching. Big as this is, I don't see myself living in a palace like this. I'd rather something more modern. Ty shifted the weight of his bag, muttered something under his breath. Makes you feel like a fucking king, I reckon. Not for me, though. Good thing it isn't forever then, Ty. Haas, wait, was he talking to Haas or to Dave? Haas wandered over to the others with Ty lingering close by, waiting for me. The driver stepped off the bus, making sure we'd all disembark, tipping their cap. I see everyone's got everything, so I'll be heading off. I'll be back in a month. Enjoy your trip. With only a wave, the driver got back on the bus and drove away. I watched as the bus disappeared among the trees, wondering if I'd be happy or sad to see that the bus come back when the trip was over. Alright, we're here, everyone. Roswell reached out and hit the doorbell before turning back to us. This is going to be great. There's a pool outside, a gym downstairs. There's your oh fuck. Who's the men in black honor? And in the forest, I think there's a river we could go fishing, maybe. As Roswell continued on about how much fun we were going to have, the rest of us had turned to the sharply dressed butler that had opened the door to greet us. Master Roswell, I presume? Roswell spun on the spot, startled by the new voice addressing him. Yeah, that's me. Very good, if you'll all follow me inside. Turning on his heel, the otter wandered inside, leaving the rest of us look at one another before looking to Roswell. Should we? May as well, yeah. Oh man, I remember this game. It's so good. We filed into the foyer of the mansion, the tiles underneath seemingly freshly cleaned from how glossy they looked. Gentlemen, I welcome you to Hammond Manor. Hammond Manor, okay. The butler gestured towards the stairs leading up before he continued. Bedrooms are up on the first floor, with further facilities on the floor above that. Don't need to tell me twice. I don't need a tour. All eyes were on Orlando's face. All eyes were on Tyson as he said it, although the butler seemed to give him a quick once-over before addressing the rest of us again. You have the freedom to roam as you please within the manor, as long as no damage comes to you doing so. Really? We can go anywhere? You may, although there are some rooms that you will find you cannot access. Well, sure, but... Orlando trailed off, but my curiosity pushed me forward to finish asking the question. What kinds of rooms are off limits? The otter stroked his mustache, seemingly thinking it over before looking at me and talking to me directly. Mostly I'm still cleaning, or those that have less ideal with the furnishings. If you find a bedroom with nothing in it, consider it off limits until they're clean. I've left doors open that are ones that are prepared for you, so please, take your pick. Ty wandered off up the stairs ahead of everyone, locking his bag. Well, alright, that seems easy. Was the place this big? Are we going to be meeting back up at some point later? You shall find the dining room off to your left. Make yourselves comfortable, and I shall have refreshments ready if you need them. Well, alright. I kind of like Benson's smile. With a slight bow, the otter wandered off to the direction he pointed in the dining room before disappearing into an adjoining room. That left the rest of us to take our bags up and find rooms. We each had our own, and thankfully they were all fairly close to one another. I dropped my bag off in my room. Oh, in my room, doesn't say which room, just my room. And had a quick look around before wandering back downstairs. Seemed like everyone had already moved though, as soon as I was standing in the foyer by myself. Where should I go? Is this gonna be a thing like before where I can just do everything at once? Hey Google, pick a random number between... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, okay, 4. Oh, what the fuck? As I made my way up the stairs, I could hear some people talking amongst themselves, though about how they were finding the place. Oh, sup, you two? Whoa. When I entered the room, Haas and Roswell turned to me, flashing me a smile each. There you are, Dave. This place is pretty ritzy, huh? They even have a conservatory. What? It's like a glass sitting room. Oh, neat. Where is that? Dave, you're standing in it now? I caught Roswell snickering to himself while I looked around the place. Neat? You can't hear how good the acoustics are in here. It'd be great for doing some lines. Acoustics? This room isn't even the coolest thing on this floor. There's a museum too, or I guess maybe like a trophy room. Has a bunch of books though. Ross and I had met at the start of year, an aspiring actor if there was one. Rumor floated around about a failed TV star moving into the neighborhood, but I never expected, well, anyone like him. The day I ran into Haas, I remember it being a little confusing, but I had apparently had good energy as far as improv was concerned, even if I wasn't sure if I was doing it right. As for Roswell, he was real into magic tricks, even if his tricks didn't always work. There were still some things he was able to pull off that I couldn't figure out, and that was magical enough for me. Now he's just into the occult stuff. Not really sure why, but he finds it interesting and torments Orlando with it every now and again. Imagine if they had a skeleton on display. What kind? Any, really. Dinosaur would be obviously ideal. So you can compare it to Sal Orlando for scale? Hey, it doesn't have to be a dinosaur skeleton. Although now that you mention it, there's also a library up there too. One of those big ones. Looks like it might go across for a couple of floors, but I didn't really check. A small study too. This place has everything, huh? Wondered why they needed all these things. Who used to live here? Don't ask me, I don't know. Hold on, if this isn't one of your folks' house or a relative of yours? Well, they could be. Okay, but surely you remember whose house this is. I was just so excited, I didn't really think it'd be that important to commit to memory. Besides, when you get told that you get to spend a month at a mansion as a vacation, all expenses paid, how much do you really need to be worrying about details if it's all organized by your parents? Still, maybe there's something around that'll tell us whose place this is. Yeah, come dinner, we'll know. Haas sighed, shaking his head and running a hand through his mane. Well, I'm gonna keep looking around, I think. Me too. There's still a few places I want to look more thoroughly. What are your plans, Dave? I don't know. I might go find the others. Might go take a nap. Not too sure yet. Well, okay, you know where to find us if you get bored. With a place this big, I might start looking around somewhere else. Alright, worst case scenario, I'll see you both at dinner. Sounds good to me. Wait, was that? Oh, okay. So you can do it all of it at once. Let's go basement. I was waiting for us in the basement. There was a set of stairs leading down from the ground floor, descending into it almost pitch black. Oh, that's a pretty funky looking basement. Suddenly the light came on. Oh, neat. I stopped my sentence midway, suddenly feeling the presence watching me. As I turned to look, a set of hands landed heavily on my shoulders, making me squeak and tense up. Boom! Oh, fuck. The sound I made wasn't manly by any stretch. But as I turned around to see Tyson, he seemed to be amused enough at my reaction. Ty! What? You scared me. Yeah, and it was hilarious. Didn't think I'd get you that good. I grumbled, rubbing my face. You're terrible. I bet you turned off those lights on purpose just so you could jump out at me. Me? Nah, never turned them on. That vision is just good enough to see down here just fine. The longer I looked him over, the more I noticed that it was really hard not to squint. Anyway, there's not much down here. You can go back upstairs now. No, I want to see what's down here. You've been down here a while, I think. Ugh, sure, whatever. Go nuts looking. Or you could just tell me what's down here if that's a problem. There's a gym. I looked around, tied to the other doors leading off. There was no way all of these had just led to a gym and nowhere else. A gym, huh? Well... Oh, here it is. Ty gestured over his shoulder to the one door that looked different to the rest. It was big and looked heavy, but beyond that being different to the others, it just looked out of place down here. Probably best if I show you. Come on, Stripes. One of the biggest, fucking center points of the story. The room beyond that door was a fairly small one. The main features of it were really just a large door opposite of where we came in. If the door we came through was odd compared to the others, this door was just a magnitude more strange. It even had a keypad next to it, as if wanting a combination to even open. What kind of room even is this? Beats me. Looks like a bank vault from a TV show. It even has a keypad on it. Wants a combination and nothing I put in gets it to work. Not that I tried hard. The beeping got on my nerves. I wandered closer to have a look. It seemed like a functional keypad with letters prominently displayed on a lot of the keys with numbers and symbols in a much smaller print above them. Much like a computer keyboard. Well, at least we know it's a word, right? I guess. Don't know how many letters, and fuck knows if it's just random letters attached. Oh. Pressing in the same letter over and over again to see if it's capped out got me nowhere. Not even an incorrect sounding noise, given I hadn't pushed the button to confirm it. Wow, you weren't kidding. It's just a door. No telling what's on the other side, and frankly, unless it's a buttload of gold we get to keep, I really don't care. I looked at the door again, eyeing the keypad. It couldn't hurt to have an actual try, right? Maybe... Oh, I don't remember much of them though. I remember when I played I think I remember some of them. I don't remember some of the passwords though. I don't know if this one matters though. I don't remember. I don't know what the passwords were. I don't remember. I should put in password. There's your password. Much like what Ty had said, this thing wasn't going to be a simple thing to open. I looked back at Tyson, who seemed to be not paying attention. What? Only thing I care about is a gem here. You have fun with the door, Dave. What? Don't care about me too? You stop that, fucking brat. I poked my tongue out at him. You know, Sal might want to use the gym too, so at least you'd have a gym partner. Ugh, he's into wrestling, right? Can't I just lift weights in peace? It's not like you had a gym membership back home. Nah, you just let me in sometimes while you were at work. Hey, I had an employee's pass. I wasn't gonna use it. Yeah, it shows. That's funny. As I huffed, Ty laughed to himself. Sure enough, a smile crept up onto my face, having been affected by the laughing. So, what's the plan now? Probably do some weights until it's time to eat. Rest of the house doesn't seem to interest me all that much. Not even a little? I'll have a look around later. Well, okay. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I'll see you at dinner then. I followed Tyson back out into the basement proper and watched as he continued straight into another room, presumably the gym. We're just gonna work our way up. First floor. Oh, that's a very majestic bedroom. The first floor was where all the bedrooms were, each one fitted with its own bathroom. And most, if not all, seemed to be furnished the same. Dean and Sal were easily the largest in our group, and the beds seemed to be made for people of their size. Like a big ass bed where you could just roll around and do whatever you want. That sounds awesome. I looked around a few of the other ones that the butler had pointed out to us. For being off limits, they were pretty easy enough to get to, and not really well marked. But they were bare of even a bed, and I soon found myself returning to my own. My mind wandered towards Roswell, Haas, and Dean. The first two were small enough to consider bunking up with, given the size of the beds. As for Dean, there was always going to be that thought that crossed my mind on if the expectation was if we'd end up sharing a bed at some point. The expectations of what that might mean, though, made me reconsider. No idea where Orlando was. Maybe he ended up looking for the kitchen. It wouldn't surprise me if Dean and Saw ended up outside somewhere. Both of them liked being outside anyway. Tyson was still keeping to himself in the gym. I still worried about him at times like this. Chances were that Roswell and Huss were upstairs, but who knew where they went after that. I stretched, wondering what I should do next. I wandered into the dining room that the butler had pointed out to us before. This whole place seemed large, to the point that it almost seemed silly that there were 7 of us that were staying here. Wow. Well, 8 if you included the butler. Psst, Dave. Orlando? Oh, it's a kitchen. I found the kitchen. He gestured broadly, his chest puffed out before returning to his normal half slouch. It's got anything and everything you could hope for in the way of ingredients, even the expensive stuff too. I gave him a wry smile, unsure of what to make of this information. Caviar? Dave ain't much of the chef, he just eats stuff. Orlando huffed, taking a small tendril of smoke wafting from his nostrils. I may not have had caviar too much, but it doesn't interest me. There are better things that you can put in your mouth anyway. As he turned to start looking in the pantry, listing off a bunch of things he'd suggest instead, I recognized the pattern. They were all baked goods. He was all about baking, actually. Right from the day we met up until a week ago, he'd brought me over some cookies from a supposed failed attempt. But Orlando's fails were wild successes. His bread was the fluffiest from how warm his hands got when made him, and his sweets were great too. But I guess if you wanted to try caviar, it's there. At least I guess it's ready to go? Well, maybe. After all, mansion high life, when might I get another chance? Exactly, mansion! Just maybe don't go shoveling it into your mouth if you'd like it. It's expensive, and I don't think you could cover the bill easily. I guess you'll just have to get some baking done to make me some snacks. That got a laugh out of him, and I chuckled along too. Well, I was planning on using some space to keep my baking skills sharp. I have to keep my practice up if I want to run my own bakery someday. Oh really? Nice. I looked around the kitchen, noticing that aside from the ingredients that Orlando had pulled off from the cupboard, there were some snacks and sandwiches laid out. Are these? Oh yeah, those were made by the butler. I think this is lunch. Should I go grab everyone? They know where it is, although I think he might have underestimated how much we might eat. Unless he's hidden an actual lunch somewhere. Or he hasn't made it yet, there's that too. Maybe. I took a sandwich and looked around, taking a bite. Hey Orlando, are you the only one out here? Oh honey, you're also out, remember? No, you moron. No, I mean in the kitchen. Oh, right. I think I saw Dean and Sal head somewhere towards the pool while Roswell and Hoss went upstairs. I nodded, taking another bite of my sandwich. Gonna keep exploring after you finish your sandwich? We're still a ways off dinner, so you've got some time to do something at least. Yeah, I might. Either that or nap. A nap? But you slept on the bus! I don't know, maybe I just need a little longer. Well, okay. But don't sleep too long or you won't sleep tonight. I wouldn't put it past Roswell to try and give you candy either. And that combination is just asking for trouble. I promise, I'll set an alarm to make sure I don't sleep through dinner. You're lucky that this place apparently has a dinner bell. Still, set an alarm, just in case. Gotcha. Orlando came in and gave me a quick hug before turning quickly towards the pantry again. As for me, I'll hang out here and make sure Sal and Dean don't eat too many sandwiches when they finally show up. I'm less worried about Haas and Roswell eating them all. Just remember, you're allowed to have fun exploring too. I will, don't worry. I'll see you when it's time for dinner, or if you get bored looking around. Alrighty, see ya. With one wave, Orlando saw me off as I made my way out the side door. At the back of the foyer was a door that leads out into the backyard. Even through the windows I could see the grounds were surrounded by heavy woods, and stepping out I was greeted by fresh, clean air. It's pretty great, isn't it? I turned to see Dean and Sal standing nearby, taking things in. It seems though I'd caught them mid-conversation. Sorry, were you two talking? It wasn't anything important. But now that you're here, what do you think? There's a greenhouse over there, and the woods look pretty dense too. It's probably not a bad place to forage. And a hedge maze. A big one. Dean gave me a wink and nudged Sal lightly, evoking a grumble from the crocodile next to him. Only thing it doesn't have is a tennis court, or a basketball court, oh well, any kind of court really. Yeah, is that a bad thing? Plus, normally you see the rich places have something like that, right? Don't listen to Dean. His family might be in the lumber business, but his head is full of rocks. Hey, that wasn't very nice. Besides, it's only really half the family anyway. How's your grandpa going? Smokey, right? Yeah, Grandpa Smokey is kicking. Doesn't do much firefighting these days, but insists we still use the nickname. And the rest of your family is good? Since the last time you saw them, yeah, as far as I know anyway. What about your family, Sal? I don't think I've heard you talk much about them. My... Huh? Sal's been busy with learning about physical therapy, right? That's our weekly bowling meet. As a hobby, yeah. Speaking of wrestling, I don't mind using a good tussle myself. I could tell what he really meant along with Sal's fist tightening as I took a step back expecting the worst. What? What's wrong? Oh, nothing. I was just thinking I'll head back inside now. You only just stepped outside though. Well, it is a big house. Don't worry, Dave. We're not going anywhere. We'll catch you later. And that is everyone. I was back in my fancy, majestic bedroom. I yawned, finding my way to my room. The nap on the bus was only a couple of hours, but even then I didn't sleep well last night. Maybe it was the idea of being far from home for a whole month that had me uneasy. Maybe it was something else messing with me. Something had been bugging me ever since we pulled up. Something that was prodding me in the back of my mind as if I'd forgotten something really important. Every now and again I'd get dreams, but nothing really all that abnormal. Sure, they were sometimes random, but whose dreams weren't sometimes? I awoke to the sound of something echoing throughout the house. Oh, the dinner bell. As I got up from my bed, I wondered how long I'd actually been asleep for. I honestly thought that it was about to hit as you see that says day 1 here at the top left corner, I thought it was going to say oh, it's day 2 now that you woke up. Dave, dinner's ready. Roswell must have been just down the hall, or maybe just outside my door. It was hard to tell given how open this place was. As I stepped out from my room, I caught a glimpse of how Roswell was heading down the stairs, taking them 2 at a time before almost slipping and falling over as he was bound for the last one a little too eagerly. This whole save thingy looks different. I just came over here to save my game, and I look over and I see, wait, this save, thing looks different. You see a little Dave here and a little Dean Tyson. Oh my word, look at all. That's actually kind of funny.